family would love to put us together for the great country Nigeria. But we're still going to have the opening prayer. If you don't mind, if you're still standing. May I request that Ruben's. Just pardon us, just 1 second. Okay, thank you very much. I will be inviting Ruben's godfather, EFCC's chairman, Ola Olukoye. Of course, my royal father is seated. Abati! Take that as a sitting. He made up his mind years ago that whenever any of his children are doing something worthwhile, he's going to make time for it. And I'm saying it because he told me personally. In Neverland, we're very proud to have him as our ruler. I honestly would have been shocked if Ruben had something of this magnitude and Kabiyesi is not here. Please join me as I welcome Kabiyesi. I'll skip one and just quickly take another of Nigeria's highly respected traditional rulers. He is with us. Whenever he steps in, you will see the grace of God on him. Kabiyesi, the Olota Afota of Ba, Professor. Kabiyesi, Olutele of Itele, is also here. Oba Ademola, Asoronto Eletu. Kabiyesi. Now back to the pharmacist turned pastor. Whenever I'm in his presence, I feel very, very humble and elated. This is one of the most respected Nigerians that ever lived. And I'm saying this with a sense of authority. Please, Julius, I'm telling you, he's here with us. Because of him, I'm going to mind my English today. Of course, at this point in time, I want to say that, would I say we miss him? But I'll say he should weigh in with his knowledge of foreign affairs. This is one gathering that the video should be shown to Donald Trump that we are peace-loving, fun-loving, developmental focused Nigerians and violence-hating. Please join me as I welcome Professor Bolaji Adeoye. I had the privilege of meeting him years ago, and I'm talking about the next person. I had the privilege of interviewing him. I've had that very rare privilege of interviewing him on television. And I respect him to no limits. Actually Christendom and this nation is lucky to have him. The bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto, Sakwato, is here with us. The highly respected Bishop Hazard. it will pass for a 56-year-old man. He deserves another round of applause. There must be something in the sacrament that it takes. Chief Ondoka Obenguna is also here with us. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The media guru is here with us. We are going to try and save time. Because there are still so many names we must mention. But we'll be doing this bit by bit. But permit me to acknowledge the presence of Bob D. Dele Momodu. He's here with us. I cannot but mention yet another highly internationally respected and acknowledged person in the house. Please join me as I acknowledge the presence of Mr. Biodun Shoba. Gentleman, one day I will get the secret about the bow tie. One day. Thank you so much. We will.
Yes, we. In fact, I believe we need to even introduce ourselves as well. I've not actually mentioned my name yet, but I was learning from my one-year process of establishing protocol, and I believe he did an amazing job. Please give him a round. Thank you. I was taking notes. My name is Titilayo Onyinson. Presently, I function as lead anchor for Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, and it's a pleasure to be hosting such an auspicious event.
I will implore you to kindly ignore the difference in height. My name is Yemi Shudi. Now, to the celebrants, before we move on. I am elated to be standing here to be joining us. Because take it back to the early 80s when this young man was my junior at Abeokuta Primary School. Baba just said something. I will not mention BBHS there. But Abeokuta Primary School, sir, to be specific, because I have the mic. I had this young man who was a junior. I was in the HSC while he was in a final year secondary school or whatever, whichever it is. Even in our class as seniors, we respected him. I'm not shocked that today is doctor. In actual fact, there's a professor in this guy sitting here. I remember clearly that the principal then, the late Mr. Oridota, used to cite him as an example to others. His brilliance, his intellect is amazing. Is somebody clapping here? So, the Chinese will say Ching Chong, meaning not be today. His name has been mentioned earlier. But I am excited that this young man today is 60 and is doing wonderful things. Nigeria is proud to have you. Africa is proud to associate with you. The world is glad to have you living here at this point in time. Please, let's join as we acknowledge Dr. Ruben Abati. Now, I don't want to go to any other Chinese saying, because what is coming to my head is Eye Kifi Abakofo. Ruben has at his side the perfect match. And I'm going to use his words to describe it. We're talking about the package of intelligence, value, financial acumen, purpose, wisdom, class, ambition, and so much. And I'm talking real to Kike more. Yes, Atoda Ruben Abati. Let's clap for him. So when we say happy birthday to Ruben, I'm saying happy birthday also to you. Let's clap for the two of them one more time.
Thank you so much for being here. And of course, to officially kick off today's event, officially open today's proceedings, it's our honor to invite a man whose leadership story is woven into Nigeria's destiny, a statesman, a reformer, a patriot. Please join us as we welcome His Excellency, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, to deliver the chairman's welcome address.
We should have added a former student of BBHS.
For those of us who live in the countryside, even when we plan our visit to Lagos, we cannot be absolutely sure of what will happen. And we had an accident on the road, and I had to even go against the one way to make sure that I'm here. And Ruben, I tried to get to you, which I got, to give my apologies for coming late. Please forgive me for coming late. Should you? Kabir Alaki has asked me to leave you in his hand when he has opportunity. Because you went to a school which is similar to our school in age, but not in any other way. We leave that to another day. Ruben, I come here to felicitate with you. 3 years, no be yoke. I did not know you at school, as I didn't know you at school. I came to know you about 30 years ago, with you and your friend, I don't know what. Over that period, you have made progress. As a journalist, as a TV presenter, as a commentator, as a community leader, as a political aide, even as a politician. And today, not just as a writer, but 3 books at the same time. So you have become a great author as well. I will emphasize you have made progress. And you know, and you remember, when our path first crossed. As a young man, you have a young man's ambition, a house over your head, a car for you to move around with. All that by now you have achieved. So you have made progress. One thing that I did not quite agree with you, if you remember, was in your struggling to make progress. You did not count much on what I regard as essential attributes of life for success and for nation building. And I'm happy that now that you have seen it all, those essential attributes are as important to you today as they were to me in those days and as they are to me today. What I see in this is time. Is the great proof of truth. The truth that I stood for at that time. In time, you have now come to stand for it. And these attributes are attributes that are imperative. Either as individual or as organization, ethically, morally, and wholesomely for nation building and individual development. I am happy that in my lifetime I can say I have a son in Ruben Abati. Who has matured, who has understood, who has progressed, and who is now on the path of success. And I think that is the lesson that I believe you are teaching all of us here. And I believe the lesson that you should carry on for the rest of your life. And I want to say again, there's a difference between progress and success. You've made progress, now you have to make success. And may God continue to help you to make success. Happy birthday.
Hello. Is somebody clapping for Baba one more time, please?
I was actually looking at all the social media content creators. They were waiting for Baba to join.
Mission to save his soul. And like I always tell him, his name is Matthew. When you get to heaven, there will be no shake. So if you don't answer this name, Matthew, you will have to go find a universe shrine somewhere. Come back to answer your name, Matthew. Your Excellency, I think you better make extraordinarily blessed because in the last 1 year ago, We have shared many platforms with him, and he's working as a media, working lesson and knowledge. And I really am happy that Ruben Abati, I didn't know you put yourself up for adoption. When I'm actually supposed to be in Ekiti, because the Bishop of Ekiti is buried today. Other bishops are in Ekiti and I'm here, and I have already committed myself to Dr. Abati. And being an elder, if I didn't show up here, it will amount to child abuse. This is the huge difference between us. Dr. Abati, it's very matter, but now that President Jonathan is here, let me say something. I don't know whether they remember. It's going to be told later on how President Jonathan became president. There is an incident. Many of you remember the National Peace Committee that convened in 2015 when there was an apocalyptic news that Nigeria was going to collapse. And the tension that existed at that moment, something happened. And it was about getting President Jonathan and General Buhari to sign a commitment to free, fair, and credible elections in Nigeria. Fixed the appointment, President Jonathan gave us, and we went. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, it happened to be now President Tinubu's birthday in Lagos, and Buhari and everybody had to come for that birthday. Now, just at the end, there was only 1 or 2 days more to election. And they needed to get both of them in one room. And it proved almost literally impossible. President Jonathan was going to go to, what's the state? Delta State. And his schedule had already been concluded. Then, of course, at about midnight, Buhari came back, and I woke up in the morning only to be told that President Buhari was available and would come for the signing of the peace accord. President Jonathan was going to be in Warri or Asaba at 9, or he was supposed to depart at 9. I think this story is very important because then I now said we had written a text of the agreement. I now called him and said, please, is there any way? I called him at 7 o'clock in the morning. Can I read the president? He said, it's not possible. Can't get the president at 7 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock, all of a sudden, finally, he told me the president was having breakfast. And I said, okay, I called Dr. Abati. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in the villa. I said, do you have your iPad? He said, yes. I said, I'm going to send you a draft copy of the agreement. Can you go and see the president and read it out to him? He said the president is having breakfast. And yet, he was able to go, read this text, and came back to us to say the president was happy with the text. It just tells you the kind of things that can happen when people who work with you gel. And I think that's why, as I said, among many other things, I thought I should be here for this event. Now Nigeria is between what I call AT and BT, or BT and AT. You know what that means? That is right now, everything that happens in Nigeria has to be before Trump or after Trump. In between now, so now, the title of my keynote is Nigeria, Time to Reload. Because despite the accomplishment of Dr. Abati, when I checked the records, I discovered that actually people like him and a lot of other people in the media, somehow, and please don't get me wrong, the standards have fallen, not due to lack of intellect, but due to age. Because Dr. Abati's employer today, the debonair Duke, who is sitting here, started a newspaper at the age of 24. I remember with my friend, Sonola Olumese, as the editor. Chris Okole started fantastic, one of the most memorable paper magazines. Started at the age of 26. Peter Ahoro editing Daily Times. Matthew Ombondo, a lot of other people, and their great achievement. The challenge there for me is what happened, as somebody will say, on the road to heaven. And how have we ended up where we are now in Nigeria? Many of you are familiar with the poem by Robert Frost, On the Road Not Taken. It is evident that because we are taking so long to get to our destination, and because the goalposts are always constantly seemingly shifting, we must be asking ourselves, what is happening with my building? Why have we ended up with a nation of such disrupted dreams? I look back at Nigeria, and I was reflecting. I said, if somebody wants to visit this country today, where will I take them to? I decided to take part of my holiday, and I went to Alexandria because it's a place I've been dreaming of visiting. And I was shocked with the things I saw in Egypt. I'm told everything is tied to, they don't have hair, but everything is literally tied to tourism. I'm asking myself, if somebody came to Nigeria today, where would they go to? Many people go to the White House, people go and sit down in the street, people go to Champs-Élysées, to go to Paris, they can see where the president lives. But even in our own country, in Nigeria, if you wanted to go, you cannot as a tourist go and see the, you can't go and see presidential villa as a tourist. There's no way, unless you are hovering over a plane, you could be shot down. Other places you can go and see where president is stay, but in Nigeria you cannot see where president is stay. The point I'm making is that the absence of monuments in our country, because, and I will speak briefly in the text, over the whole question of the creation of myths as the basis for nation building. For example, the Boers who arrived South Africa in 650. One of the things they remember, they still remember very well, is what they call the Battle of the Blood River, which is a battle in which, according to their own narration, they were able to defeat over 20,000 Zulus. Only 464 white people defeated 20,000 Zulus. Today they have what is called the Botrika Monument, KwaZulu Natal. Okay, I've been to the place. The Americans have a Thanksgiving Day. And Europe celebrates Normandy Day on the 6th of June. The challenge for us is that what do we celebrate? Because almost every year, either they will tell you the celebration of Oktoberfest is low-key or is low-key. The point I'm making therefore is that somehow something happened or didn't happen. The result is that we need to reload. Why will you reload? You reload because either you fire your shot wrongly, or the object moved, or something has happened. You know, very few people know that there were 42 attempts to kill Hitler. Somehow, people keep missing. We need to reload because how do we explain the fact that there are over 60,000 projects that are abandoned across the length and breadth of Nigeria? How do we explain the economic hemorrhage captured in the illicit financial flows? First report that was given by Kofi Annan 5 or 6 years ago quoted billions and billions of dollars fleeing Africa. We ask ourselves, for example, now we are victims and hostages in the womb of ethnicity, religion, which elsewhere is a source of inspiration for us. Religion has become a subject of death. So the questions we need to ask, therefore, have to do with where did we get it wrong? Or how come even the things we did right, we didn't have the ability to consolidate on them? Here, issues of identity, what we see, the myths around the myths of identity. But if you ask yourself now, who are the prominent Nigerian statesmen that their names resonate across the length and breadth of Nigeria without punctuation? You will find the Yorubas have their leader in the Awolowo, the Igbos have their leader in Zik, the Northerners have their leader in Sardauna. We who are children of a lesser God have no idea, we don't know where to talk. Who are going to adopt us. When you talk about the Americans will tell you that there are people that they call founding fathers, and they become literally sacred monuments in the sense that their names are constantly being invoked, either to justify or to reprimand certain actions. We're talking of people like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, John Adams, John Jay, Alex Hamilton, and Thomas Jefferson. Now, we have a problem of the lack of a text in Nigeria. You cannot be an artist without a text. That's what we are in Nigeria. The reason why many people will wonder, I really don't want to even go there, but why do you think Americans will feel so fanatically? It's not about going to church or not going to church. It's about the fact that the sentiments that the word Christianity evokes in them. Remember that the founding fathers, called the Puritans, I mean some of them who are literally formed by the gospel of Puritanism. These early founding fathers fled from Europe, were fleeing from the oppression, so to say, whether it's of the Catholic Church or the Anglican Church or the Church. So they had a very puritanical view of religion. And the result is that they were going to found a land. And for them, a land that was going to be based on the principles of the gospel. And that is why, as far back as 1630, a man called John Winton delivered a sermon which became actually the basis, more or less like the foundation for everything that America stands for in terms of how it sees itself. And it is from that speech delivered in 1630 that Winthrop spoke about. He was actually the first governor of Massachusetts. He was an English lawyer. But in his speech, he made a point and referred to America as a city on a hill. And it is from there, because the speech contains quotations from the prophet Micah, where people are enjoined to act justly, love tenderly, and walk humbly with their God. It is from that inspiration that you hear Americans talk about, in God we trust. You hear Americans talk about their manifest destiny. You hear America talking about them being God's country. And whatever problems you may have, America believes that, Professor Koleja is here, so I will not go there. But Americans believe and they convince themselves that they have a mission to save the world. Whether you agree with them or not, that's not the issue. And that mission has a foundation. The question for us in Nigeria, because Americans were committed in 1776 when they issued the Declaration of Independence, we are committed to the proposition that one, all men, we hold this truth to be self-evident. All men are created equal. And they are endowed by their Creator with rights. That among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it is to secure these rights that governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. So if you are messing around, and remember the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and Third Amendment was the freedom of religion. So if here in Nigeria, we say, oh, you are free, you only we can give you freedom. To build church, we must give you permission. To build mosque, we must give you permission. The Americans place such a high premium on, first of all, freedom. So if you don't have a foundation from where you can draw a sense of what values constitute the pillars of your name, you'll find yourself in a situation that Nigeria finds itself now. For example, the Chinese, drawing from the teachings of Confucius,
Two seats, just two extra seats.
For example, one quotation in the Analect says, never impose on others what you will not choose for yourself. And they have chosen a philosophy of the mean, M-E-A-N, the mean, that is the mean, against extremes. So Chinese, the foundation of Chinese life is moderation. Using the pendulum as a model, they say that this teaching assumes that there should be no extremes, and there must be a deliberate effort to find an equilibrium. In a sense of virtue, not necessarily the kind of virtue. Virtue is what makes us human. So it's not about which religion we worship. It's certain fundamental issues. So if you find us being such a chaotic, quarrelsome, angry, whatever, you are in Nigeria. We lack a mean. We lack a culture. We lack the institutional or the moral inspiration to establish. So if we ask ourselves, who were our founding fathers? Because strange as it may sound, there are certain when we talk to the Chinese and how they saw themselves. Many of us think that the Chinese are running a dictatorship. Actually, the Chinese are running a multi-party system as is remedy for the review of our constitution. There's also something about the judiciary which I wanted to talk about, but let me, since I don't want to make people sad, let me try and end by saying an appeal of us. Men and women have made tremendous sacrifices to get us to where we are. And we are very lucky. This gentleman that is sitting here, we are very lucky because the world is looking for him. And very often people ask, if you have people like President, but why are you still having the problems you are having? Well, we are running on half time already. It is time for us to begin to think a bit more clearly about the kind of values that hold our society together. Finally, just a word on the Trump thing. I think all of us are confusing Trump for the sickness. It's a symptom, very disease. Trump is a symptom of the disease that is in our country. Now, I think it's Yoruba people that say that it doesn't matter if a snake is dead, whether a woman kill him or whether the snake is dead. So, whether it is Trump or whoever that has given us this jab, it is time for Nigeria to wake up. Thank you very much.
If we came here and all we did was to listen to Bishop Matthew as a preacher and then go home, it will be worth it. You want to put it together for him one more time, please? All the way from Sokoto, you're now asking the man to speak for 1 hour. And you say 10 minutes. 1 hour is not enough for Buddha.
Sure.
We know him. You know him. The world knows him. Thank you, Bishop. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. We still celebrating Dr. Ruben Abati. Permit me to quickly acknowledge the presence of a few more people. We have got His Royal Highness Prince Adeshegun Onero, Chairman Board of Directors, British International School. Let's put it together for him, please. In-house here, we've got retired AIG Tunji Alapini. He's in the house. Please, let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. Otuba Fasharoy, Baba's bosom friend, is here with us. Please, let's clap for him. Irumole Tola Adeni. Please, let's acknowledge his presence. Let's acknowledge his presence. Prince Boyega Nasir Isiaka is in the house. GNI, thank you so much. A member of my own clan is also here. Get it dressed. Shuffle. Yes, go on.
Mama,
Yes.
one of the queens of our industry, our entertainment industry, the amazing Shafi
Bello.
Bello.
Please, let's clap for her. Let's clap for her. Of course, I see my namesake, Mr. Yemi Akejo. He's in the house. Let's clap for him, please. So many. There's a representative of the governor of Kano State here, Sanusi Pature DT. Thank you so much for agreeing. And of course, His Excellency came in while all this was coming in, was going on. All the way from Abia State. He came in quietly, and we really want to thank you for showing up. I'm talking about His Excellency Alex Oti of Abia State. One more time, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State is here, Dr. Kadri of Bafemi Hamza. He is here with us, sir. Thank you so much. We cannot say enough of this. A man saw a country that was about to go up in flames. He decided to subdue his ambition so that peace will reign. He is here today. We want to thank you one more time. President. Again, one more time. Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him. Thank you.
He is Mr. Louis Odion, FNGA. Now he is here to give a review, an insightful dissection of these amazing books. We'd like to welcome him to the stage with some applause. If he's in the room, he's in the room now. I believe so.
Something tells me he can do that in 10 minutes so that we do not have the Sokoto experience. I don't want him to protest on the stage. Let's encourage Mr. Odion, please.
Respected journalist and thought leader, Mr. Louis Odion.
Your Excellency, the Chairman of Education, President Olusegun Obasanjo, I crave the indulgence to stand on the protocol already established. I titled the review, The Essays as Pillar of National Memory, a review of Ruben Abati, offering. Among top Nigerian editors of the last 3 decades, the mention of the word monumental only signify one individual, Dr. Ruben Abati. It has nothing to do with the topography or archaeology of his native environment, but rather it is an acknowledgement by media contemporaries of Abati's prodigious capacity for both hard work and play. That capacity to engage in scholarly circles, as well as tease flawlessly in street lingo. The facility to deliver a brilliant lecture at short notice, and yet never failing to meet editorial deadline to the primary employer. To multitask as a writer, bibliophile, TV, radio anchor, speaker, dramatist, compere, wine connoisseur, and I must not forget to add, a very good lover of beautiful women. And yet, never disappointing in each task or role. If you like, call him a jack of all trades, but he is a master of all. That is why you will hear the shout of monumental, monumental, when Dr. Abati joins the gathering of the media associates. Well, I just heard that President Tinubu added another today. Ruby. Well, I hope Ashwaju of Africa knows the full implication of that. Only that to explain why Abati, who for instance was heard giving an impeccable summary of the presentation by visiting high-profile guests at the Night Coliseum nightclub by Sunday midnight, as the in-house moderator, would yet be among the first to be seated at the editorial board meeting of the Guardian very early the next Monday morning, back in those days. Let me tell you a story. Sometime in the early 2000s, a senior and much older colleague of Abati, perhaps out of malice or envy or both, sought to bruise Abati's ego at the workplace. The story is told that on that fateful day, to the hearing of not a few people gathered, the big Oga said rather condescendingly, quote, "Everywhere I go, everyone keep asking, where's Ruben Abati? Who is Ruben Abati? They don't know you are nobody here in Gambia." I saw our big daddy around, Marjorie Thomas. I'm sure you know about the story. One more word. Of course, that was a big lie. In the estimation of the average reader or follower of the Guardian back then, Abati certainly counted much more. After the exit of titans like Dr. Yemi Ogunbi and Dr. Tukidari, not a few media scholars would agree that Dr. Ruben Abati came to embody the Guardian in the civic space on account of his advocacy. To put things in historical context, it must be recognized that before Nigeria's independence in 1960, newspaper columnists played a significant role in anti-colonial agitation by way of mobilizing local resistance, and they all seemed united for a common purpose back then. However, that unity of pursuit unfortunately evolved into something else in post-colonial Nigeria. As the socio-political dynamics changed with the intensification of power struggle among competing factions of the elite, so did the character of newspaper column in Nigeria. And part of the consequence is the emergence and proliferation of media organizations, which in some cases openly aided and abetted the peddling of ethnic or sexual agenda. Nowadays, quite unlike the pre-independence Nigeria, we see a growing number of columnists in the public space who would rather be identified more as defender of ethnic, sectional, or sectarian interests. Abati stands as the very antithesis of this parochial tendency. In philosophy and in practice, Abati's journalism is defined essentially by an unflinching fidelity to intellectual curiosity, logic, and reasoning. Certainly, it will not be listed among the ethnic irredentists, as can easily be seen through his public engagement in almost 4 decades through the agency of both the written and spoken words. Abati will certainly be counted as a passionate advocate of the concept called Nigeria. Perhaps his greatest strength as a writer is a unique gift to seek winning an argument with a combined artillery of logic and middling humor without being overly abusive. Of course, overall, Abati's language, his statistics bear a distinctive flavor marked by easy accessibility without losing elegance, steeped in native humor that disarm even the supposed enemy or confuse those being mocked so much that they start thinking they were receiving a compliment. His multidisciplinary academic exposure is certainly uncommon among peers and indisputably unique in Nigeria's broader civil space. This distinction is very much in evidence in what is now being presented today as an anthology of some of his essays in the last 3 decades, published as columns in the Guardian and This Day. Some of them won him virtually all the prestigious media awards available to be won in Nigeria over the years, as well as got him inducted as a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Letters. This rich harvest of essays are thematically classified into 3 books, namely How Goodluck Jonathan Became President, running into 285 pages. The Love Letter, another story, running into 402 pages, and Portrait, People, Politics and Society, spanning 642 pages. The books are published by Carter Publication based in Nigeria. Writing in his seminal book entitled On Heroes, Hero Worship and Heroic in History, Thomas Gabby reminds us of the power of little story and little drama. The famous Scottish essayist and historian propounded the theory of the man, which underscores how impactful individuals shape history. What then becomes the history of a nation, according to Carey, is an aggregation of the biography of great men that inhabited the epoch under consideration. So in a way, it can then be argued that with his range, depth, and consistency, Abati's weekly column effectively offers an aperture to view the evolution of Nigeria over the past few decades. But note, Abati's chronicle is not entirely value-free. He was not a mere verbatim recorder of events or ideas, or a biographer for that matter, engaged in a perfunctory exercise. Rather, his own historiography was undoubtedly shaped by the earlier referenced instinctive bias for logic and common sense, which aligned with what can normatively be classified as the public interest or the common purpose. The first book, entitled How Jonathan Became President, comprises 31 chapters, subdivided into 4 sections. The first, captioned in the beginning, details the political and historical circumstances that gave birth to the administration of President Umar Yar'Adua, in which Goodluck Jonathan had fortuitously emerged as deputy. In chapter 2, entitled The Jonathan Presidency, on page 29 precisely, about his sums of popular opinion about the 2007 presidential poll conducted by the Obasanjo administration first. In the end, the 2007 elections were regarded as the worst in Nigerian history. On election day, television station showed images of underage voting, ballot box snatching, and gross violation of the people's right to choose. The international community was alarmed. Local observers dismissed the election as a sham. End of quote. I'm sorry, President Obasanjo. Indeed, the months between the late 2009 and up to the middle of 2010 were quite unprecedented in Nigerian history and obviously unanticipated by the framers of the 1999 Constitution, whereby a constitutional vacuum was exploited by the inner circle of the sitting president, bedridden in a foreign land, with the exact nature of his ailment hidden, plunging governance at home into a state of suspended animation, and turning Aso Rock into a theater of the absurd. Until the 9th of February 2010, when the Senate contrived the doctrine of necessity to proclaim the deputy as acting president. The high drama precious intrigues that preceded the emergence of Goodluck Jonathan, first as acting president following the Senate intervention, and eventually as the substantive president on May 5, after the death of Umar Yar'Adua, are adequately documented in the 11-part series under the rubric of the Jonathan presidency in section 1 of the book. Again, while the Ajia Toure Yar'Adua-led cabal sought to tighten their grip on power in Abuja in her husband's curious absence, Abati vividly captured the popular mood across the land then in chapter 14 with the title Thank You, Dora. Professor Dora Akurili, the then information minister, has summoned the courage to break the conspiracy of silence by opening up on Yar'Adua. On page 129, the author writes, and I quote, Dr. Akurili is obviously the only man in the executive council of the Federation. The others have lost their spines and submitted to the tightly knit conspiracy spun by that body and his faceless accomplices in deceiving Nigerians. 74 days on that, President Yar'Adua is fit. Akurili thoroughly fed up with all the feeding, the chili-chali, reportedly submitted a memo to the Executive Council this week, asking that the deception must stop and President Yar'Adua must hand over to the Vice President so the country can move forward. End of quote. But as sympathetic as Abati might sound in his portrayal of Jonathan at the hands of the Aso Rock Kabal before Yaradua passed on, he nonetheless does not hesitate to whip the same Jonathan over a poor habit soon after assuming power. In a piece entitled "The Speech Jonathan Shouldn't Have Made" on page in chapter 31, page 250. You are the only one in my program of that. And I dreamed about you. I went out to the sea in my dream, and I saw you surrounded by water, and you in your majesty rose from the abdomen of the sea like Yemoja. The avatar of beauty. Oh, Lord, you return. We are thy servant. End of quote. To know how that adventure in romance ended, you would have to get a copy to it. Well, let me pass. Well, however, of the three poems by Abati under reference, the most definitive in my mind is the third one entitled Portrait, People, Politics and Society. It reminds of the two 690-page classic by the time of London entitled Great Life, A Century of Obituary, edited by Aaron Brodsky and published in 2005, or another by Economics of London with the title Book of Obituary, edited by Keith Colopon and Rowe, published in 2008. But thankfully, about its own is not about only the dead. A good many of the personality examined in about the third book are still very much alive, just as Portrait, People and Politics and Society showcases the multidimensional virtuosity of Abati as a compelling presence in Nigerian intellectual space for almost 4 decades. This particular collection will more or less also pass as a roll call of most, if not all, of the consequential individuals who have shaped and defined Nigeria as well as in the global community in the last 4 decades. As usual, for ease of consumption, Abati subdivided the book into 4 sections, namely Man of the Year essay, 12 in all, published in the Guardian. Then you have the section tagged Profile, followed by different encounters and birthdays. Put together, they are either tributes or mini biography of 100 individuals. They cut across politics, commerce, military, academia, journalism, law, science, religion, philanthropy, art, and entertainment, and even crime. Another title for this collection will be The Saints and the Sinners. Of course, Abati is not merely documenting them, but also passing the value judgment. Those praised will be those who have impacted their society or humanity at large for good. Those lampooned will be those who left or are leaving the country or the world worse than they met it. Why this collection of Abati is so significant is for the inspirational appeal in most cases, and as cautionary note in few instances. The young one should be inspired by the many examples of how small ideas started by ordinary folk became big through sheer hard work, persistence, perseverance, and delayed gratitude. This is all the more instructive in a new world into a trust in which the wrong heroes are worshipped and wrong values are glamorized by the social media. For the able ones who think only Yahoo can bring fortune, they will find a repeat in this collection, for instance, from the story of Jimoh Odutola, who started a business with a capital of just £6, 1921, and who practiced rooted in diligence, fear of God and integrity, transformed commercial octopus in the next 5 decades. A conglomerate that employed thousands in the southern Nigeria. It's no fairy tale. Abati documents the personal relationship with the old man whose disciplined lifestyle ensured he could still visit Abati and climb the stairs at townhouse at the Guardian when he was well over 90 years old. Paulo Tola eventually died at the age of 105 in 2010. That we find this in chapter 27. Last one. Taken together, the 3 books are well packaged in a manner that will not only keep the ordinary reader spellbound, but also end watchers. with not too many typographical infelicities. The indexing present them as serious academic offerings. Perhaps the low incidence of typo can be attributed to the fact that all the essays earlier benefited from the intense editorial scrutiny before being published in The Guardian and This Day. However, I noticed some misalignment in the table of content of the 3 books. The version I was given for this review was a soft copy. While seeking to reference the chapters, I noticed that the pagination set out in the table of content differs from the actual location of the book. I believe this can easily be remedied, particularly for the copies to be sold in the digital space. All said, the 3 books are undoubtedly monumental, fittingly reflecting the protective monumentality of Dr. Ruben Abati, a consequential public intellectual, a media icon, a politician, and more importantly, someone relentlessly advocating for a better Nigeria. Together, this book not only tells the worst and best of us as a nation, but also prognosticates the greatness that awaits us as a nation, if only the critical minds can coalesce in the pursuit of a common purpose. I strongly recommend you all get copies to read and pass on to your children, friends, and neighbors. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis Onion.
If you have not been reading him, I wonder what you've been reading. Let's clap for you one more time.
I hope to see a publication of that review sometime soon.
Wow.
Interesting.
Ruben. Exposed. This is Ruben exposed. Thank you, Mr. Odian, for that beautiful piece. And Kike Lomo, I was just quickly checking this, and I saw something Ruben wrote on your birthday. Not be today. It is World Kiki's Day today. Happy birthday to my remarkable and intellectually beautiful wife in our 40s, yet defying the aging process. You, my wife, possess a taste that matches your impeccable work ethic. As a hard-working woman, your elegance is only outshined by your only outshined by your work ethic. I am beyond proud of you. Let's invite the attention. Let's clap. Let's clap for your. Of course, while all that was going on, a few people joined us, and some are already here that we do not acknowledge. Please pardon my height, which is the only thing I can attribute to not mentioning the name of the chairman, Access Holdings, much earlier. I was here. Let's clap for this. And while that was going on, Ambassador Dr. Patrick Deleko also came in. Much respect. Chairman Odua Group of Companies, Odua Investments, Otumba Bibashiru also joined us. Please, let's clap for him. We have
Council Publication Nigeria Limited, even though we have never met. I quite appreciate his beautiful wife, which the beauty equally reflects in what you are seeing, because he was the guidance. She was the guidance. She guided and made sure that things came out perfectly. She was a rock to make sure that we succeeded in getting this books here today. What we are presenting here today is just a fraction of many articles in the archives of Dr. Abati. In the process of putting these books together, we took them for various consultants who all applauded the contents for publication. The quality of the text will be a great reference point to policymakers, students, and researchers. Finally, we hope that Dr. Abati's effort will be appreciated by every one of us here, and beyond through the purchase of copies. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much. With that height, may I invite His Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, to please, sir, with respect, kindly join us. And of course, Bishop Azan Matthew Kuka from Sokoto to please join us. May I, with utmost respect, invite the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ebele Jonathan, to please join us. And of course, finally, he says he has given President Jonathan the go ahead to do this by himself and of course also on his behalf. Is somebody clapping for President Jonathan here? Okay, now I'm going to hand over the mic to Mr. President Ebele. Good luck, Jonathan, to spread the good luck. We need to ever humble Ruben. I was going to push him closer, but he says he rather just stay there. That's all right, sir. He wants to continue writing his love letters.
Thank you, the chairman of the occasion, His Excellency Baba Mujuru Babasanjo, and dear father. Thank you, and very senior students are here with us. On behalf of all of us who are standing here, the author and the publisher, we hereby formally present this book.
We're going to request that lady we're going to ask Lady Ebro to please say something now.
I actually got my ladyship title from the Greek Parliament. Yes. My father was Greek, my mother Nigerian, and so I remain Lady Maybe Alex Ebro. Dr. Abati was actually part of The Guardian since 1983, and I think he was there for about 9 years. Then Baba now asked him to come to Abuja to work with him, President Jonathan. And after that, I really couldn't figure out what you were now up to. Writing more books. I'm not aware of that part of you. But he was very kind. And most people he had first, they all gave new life for him. And he's very, very happy. They're getting on very well. In fact, the first thing I saw, I said, you go, but this one I will go better. Thank you so much.
That, of course, was delivered in the Greek man's time. And we look for Lady April. Thank you very much. So we don't want to keep you standing, except for we'll get back to that. Thank you so much. Please, we can take our seats while Kabir Sialake stays back to give us a message. Please, one more time, remember the books are out there. You can pick up your copies, and you can also show your love in doing so. The good news is that the EFCC chairman has left. It's now time for Kábíyèsí Aláké Ọba Adédọ̀tun Àrẹ̀mú Gbádébọ̀.
Former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The two of them who are here with us, I think we're very lucky to have them here today. But my own senior, Chief Olujemi Ariana Abasanjo, other excellencies, my Lord the Bishop, Kábíyèsí, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. 20 years ago when I became the Alaki of Ebaya, I promised that I will celebrate every son and daughter wherever they may be, all over the world. Today I am very happy to be here in the birthday of a great elder son, a man of letters, even though he did not attend my secondary school. He went to an only older in age. My school has produced 2 heads of state in this country. My school has produced so many their school has produced Abba-Geda. That is their school. Now, I want to talk about the celebrity today, a great man of letters. We didn't know that the people of the kind of English that they are fond of the Noah, all those big grammar,
Oh, you want to see him? I wanted to say bye, but maybe.
and all the English. Because English, the law is super important, and on the television are always simple, elegant English, fantastic way of constructing various sentences. I want to thank you that he has raised once again the level of the persons and voters all over the world. Not just being first in medicine, the best medical hospital in Nigeria 1895, not just in law, because the university judge, and so on and so forth, including the newspaper itself, the first newspaper in Nigeria. The of accountancy profession, name anything good in this country, you find an example at the top of it. And I want to say, the best is yet to come. You ain't saying nothing yet. He's only 60. By the time he's celebrating 70 and 80, maybe he will become the second Nobel laureate in Africa. I wish you best of everything you wish yourself. And I congratulate the wife also, the great partner, and as a neighbor to achieve all the things we celebrated today. Allah have a good evening. Ọjọ́ bá bá wọlé ayé wọn sí ìlú. Ilé ètò náà ṣe lẹ́yìn ìgbà ìjà ṣe lọ fún ẹ. Ọjọ́ ìlú àtàlẹ́ àtàgbọ̀jọ́. Ó ṣe máa ń bá wọn lẹ́yìn ìgbà ìjà ṣe lọ. Ọba ìṣèkà ló sọ̀rọ̀. Congratulations. You are 60, you will be 70. The Bible says those who are strong will go to 80, some want to go to 90 and naughty. If you go to 100, you are on your own. I believe the books have been well written, and we are very proud of you. We've known you for more than 40 years, and you've done well, rising from a quadrillion to the 6 centenarian that we are now. But I think the message to take away from here
then books will be written, speeches will be made. What comes most is the 3 C's: chances, choices, and consequences. Nigerian leaders have the chances. May God give them the wisdom to make the good choices from the chances. The consequences of our decisions in 1960 are being felt right now, but we do have an opportunity to recharge, as Martin Cook has said. May God give us, through people like Ruben Abati, people who would recognize the chances still around us, who would have the wisdom and inspiration to make the right choices, so that the consequences for this generation and the future generation will be beneficial to all concerned. Congratulations to all of us.
Thank you very much, sir. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, please, Your Excellencies, the books are out there. Let's pick our copies and of course show our love in the process. Acknowledge the presence of Safemi. I will acknowledge the presence. Thank you so much, sir. Kábíyèsí, ọlọ́tà ọ̀fọ̀tà, ọba Professor Adeyemi Abdulkabir, ọba Lẹ́gẹ́, Kábíyèsí, a few minutes. Let's have a professorial touch, please.
President Goodluck Jonathan, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm happy to be here today to join my mentor. I call Abati my mentor because we were in the same industry before. Honestly, he has done so many wonderful things personally that I may not want to mention here this afternoon, but honestly, he's an extraordinary human being. He has done wonderfully well in the media profession that I continue to follow him even while I was away in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. So today is to celebrate my dear brother because we are from the same state. I want to celebrate you, Dr. Ruben Abati. You have been wonderful, and that is why your colleagues call you monumental, because nothing compares with you in Nigeria media industry. So congratulations and God bless you.
Former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ebele, good luck, Jonathan, to speak to us while I wish him good luck. For those many years that he was here, I never had the privilege of shaking him. Is somebody taking his photograph? Don't let, please. That's all we know.
Thank you so much. You know, people are already tired, so I wouldn't take much of the time. I should get through in 1 minute. Today is a special day, first, for the birthday of Ruben Abati. We are celebrating the Diamond Jubilee today. Just a beautiful wife. So first, happy birthday to my younger brother and good friend, Ruben Abati. And I remember Genesis 6 verse 3 say a man should live 120 years. Not the Psalm 90 that talks about Christmas and 10. So the day that you are celebrating 60, you still have another 60 years to go. Luckily for you, Kiki will still be very elegant in the next 60 years. They will still attract those beautiful love letters. So we wish you well, and we join you to celebrate you at 60. It's a remarkable age to celebrate, that you still continue doing those in the next 60 years before you get to the biblical 120 years. And on the books, we have to thank you for contributing to knowledge. I always like people who write about me, because sometimes it's so difficult for you to even write about yourself. Because people know you more than you know yourself. When you tend to write about yourself, probably there's this tendency to overpaint yourself in too many bright colors that probably you don't deserve. But when people write about you, it makes more meaning. So I'll be very, very interested to read how Goodluck Jonathan became president from back to back. And I need to do that in the next couple of days. And when you talk about how I became president, the man who made me president is right here. I will probably reflect it. I hope you captured his role very, as a journalist, you follow up my stories even before you join me in the State House. So I thank you for that. Of course, there were a lot of ups and downs about my political journey. But actually, my political journey looks like a political miracle. From deputy governor to become the president of this country under 4 years was a miracle. It's only God that made it possible. So I have to thank you for documenting it. And I know your scholarly competence. And this will be one of the best collections. Well, if somebody wants to read about Jonathan and the State House, I sincerely thank you, and I'm grateful. And let me thank all of you for coming today. I'm not giving vote of thanks, that is Kiki's job. But Ruben Abati served with me very well. So he's like a younger brother to me, and I have to appreciate that all of you, especially his king, his traditional rulers and others who are here, my good friend Governor Oti, Binga Daniel, and all others that are here to celebrate him. Father Cooker, thank you for that Episcopal lecture. In fact, when they were bringing the people to you, I wanted to jump up to go and push them away. But we are still enjoying the presentation. I think you give me a copy of that speech. There's a lot to learn from it. And you're a scholar, and you've done very well. And the book reviewer, thank you for a good job. As you were reviewing the book, I know that you and Abati belong to the same constituency. And that is why you were able to bring all this in a very simple and clear manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank all of you.
He's a miracle working God. He's a miracle working God. He's the God of Ebele Jonathan. He's a miracle. Please a big round of applause for former President of the Republic of Nigeria. His Excellency, good luck, Ebele Jonathan. I wish you all good luck. I can hear an amen. He's here now, better tap from the anointing. Please, representing the governor of Akwa Ibom State, please, can we have Ruben's Productions? Come on. James, Elizabeth, Ebu, the Leman King, what else? Please come. And the adorable Wasiu, please join us. They say, if you love good things, clap for these children. Clap for these children. Wasiu, James, whether first James or second James, James just come. Elizabeth, Please come. Yes, so. Any other? Ruben, check your diary just to call you miss out anything. Okay, can we? Oh, we'll come to it. Let's just take pictures here. Thank you very much. James and Elizabeth, where are you? Come and take shots with your papa. And Wasil, please. Please come. Can we clap for them, please? Can we clap for them? They look like state security officials. Please come. You know the Chinese have a saying, meaning ọjọ́ àgbòkí ti pẹ́ ní eégún. Not be today, you don't take. Shafi, please come up. Shafi, please come up. Shafi. All right. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellencies, good afternoon. Your Royal Majesties, good afternoon. I stand on existing protocol. Kiken coming up.
Yes, others are joining them. Mr. President, please. Distinguished Senator Benga Daniel, please kindly join us. Kabiyesi Alake, please. We are asking you to. Aremo Olusegun Oshoba to please kindly join us, sir. And of course, Lady Maiden Abro should please join us. Should please join us. Okay, do we have any other, please? Prince Julius Adeluyi, sir, thank you so much. And to put a bit of Holy Ghost protection, Bishop Azan Matthew Buka, please. Let's have the Holy Ghost presence. Shafi, go ahead, please.
Mr. Shoji more of Abeokuta Grammar School.
With due respect, sir, I answer, sir. Chief Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo, BBHS.
Those of you who cannot touch, point your hand 1 to 60. 1. Now, 10, 30, 40. Bishop, I will get to the kingdom of heaven before you. Not only because I will die before you, but because of the grace of God.
Matthew chapter 4.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think the day for me is a day of gratitude. Yes, I give thanks to the Almighty who has made this possible, for His grace, for His mercy. And I also like to thank all of you. I know that the day is last week. I would not like to take too much of your time. Especially, I would like to thank the chairman of the Foundation, former president of the nation. Now, many people may not know that in fact, let's go, that I co-wrote my late friend and colleague, Shesman. It was a first commission by the African Leadership Forum here in those years. There was a resources. That was good. The late of the plan that Chief Adiola will turn out the president. The first one said the book reviews that I did were under the auspices of African Leadership. The major countries that I first traveled to, they were also with African Leadership. But the most memorable one that I remember was when Baba was released, and then the first one to visit. So in those days, the ALF used to do programs, training, and leadership programs. So across Africa, we covered quite a number of countries. The director of the ALF, Mr. Agbodili, we used to, we were all groomed by when the book on Abiola was published, where Baba was then having issues with Abacha. It was Otumba Fasha who stood in for Baba. And since then, I can't even count the number of books I wrote. Today we brought publishing so there are other publications, lectures, communication lectures in universities. This university is a communication. University of Africa, some of these universities we want to all the books we have, many more. So I would like to start by thanking President Mission for agreeing to be the chairman of this commission. I really have too much. I didn't even go through any steps to get into all. Because I told them, I'm there. So I want to thank you. If you look at your books, the dedication was very deliberate. The book title Countries with Politics and Society, dedicated to Dr. Ide Kachi. When I was teaching at the State University, I was writing for years like this. I've seen my editor there, the critical law. He was my first editor before that editor. We were writing romance books, and I was also writing columns for that publication, from Hayes to Hearts and all of that. So I don't write romance stories. So then after that, before I went to do that, I worked with Alhaji Najib Jimo in a newspaper called The Hammer. I was editorial agent. That I had been writing as a freelancer for The Guardian. So Dr. Latujidare and all of them, they said, if you are going to leave the university, the only place for you is the editorial board of The Guardian. And that was how I got. And of course, in those days, they used to give you exam. So they don't care when you were a professor. So I did 3 months. I think I got there in October. It was only in January, that the Ogas and the Guardian said, it's good enough to be one of us. So you see that the book also mentions, in terms of the education, Mr. Now President General when you started deputy chairman editorial, his first question was how the time I was just want to do your work. I'm satisfied with So, the book is also dedicated to Professor Batuto. Professor Batuto, for 10 years, I was on a program called Patitos. At the time when he was going into politics, he just handed over to me. I said, okay, be presenting the program while I go and do politics. Some of the gangsters, I've seen one of them to me in Nigeria, thank you for coming. And then, of course, after I went to Abuja and came back, I wrote again for The Guardian, I rested for some time, and then I ended up television. Prince Mutawai read that also a second time. And that has become my daily engagement now, apart from writing columns, label places. So I thank all of them for giving me the platform, for giving me the opportunity to express myself. Now the book on the presidential, by the time you look at it, it's not yet available. There is a rule that when you serve, you are bound not to say what you know about 10 years. So the 10 years have just passed. So the book on the Jonathan years will still come. But this is just, me warming up by putting together some of my earlier notes. And it's dedicated, of course, to President Jonathan. Because after we left office, there were some issues while the government was fighting us. And there were people who were saying, look, let's have a committee, let's fight back. I think after 2 or 3 meetings, President Jonathan told we should take it easy. Because after God, it is government. And that's why I wrote in that dedication that, you are right. Indeed, after God, it is God. So if you go and fight government, the government wants to fight you, they will find something. And then, of course, the other book, Love Letter, is dedicated to all my teachers, living and dead. Because I'm a product of the diligence of those who taught me. Those, including those who taught me all the good things and the bad things. None of them can allow me this good and then rascality. So that is the basic story behind those 3 books. And then, of course, I'm just overwhelmed that we could feel this all, and the attendance has been remarkable. Prince Baimena says he's having a party recently, this afternoon, some parties, tomorrow another party. In Abeokuta on Sunday, my brothers and cousins, they say they are having another party. I hope I will be strong enough to be in front of television on the morning. I want to thank everyone here, particularly our fathers that are here. When I went to invite Kabis, Kiki and I must have gone to Abeokuta about 2 or 3 times. They will say, oh, Kabis is in London. They will say, oh, Kabis is in Lagos. So I just looked at it and I said, okay, I know Prince now. Let me call Prince and tell him that, where is Baba now? I would like to see Baba. So he said, Baba is in Lagos. I said, should I call him? Maybe she call him. So I called Kabisi. Kabisi said, you need to go to Abeokuta. Come and meet me in my house here in Lagos. And that was how it happened. And he promised that he would be here. Kabisi. When I called the Kabisi, your daughter, he immediately said, oh, I'll be there. I said, oh, Kabisi, I want to come to the palace to invite you to. He said, no. You have told me, I have noted the date, I will be there. He didn't want any commentary, any protocol. And this is the second time that Kabisi is just standing by me without any protocol. When I did the book on the late Alapero of Ikwero, it was Kabisi that was the book reviewer. Of course, he was invited by his colleague, now Oba Basibo, who did before. The book on him is on display there. Other books on display there. My wife's books. She is an author herself, a writer, a journalist. So she has 3 of her books on display. I said, oh, bring your books too. Let's show that this is what we do when we are not doing other things. we try to write books. So Kiki, thank you very much. And then, of course, the MCs, wonderful job that you have done. What would I say about our money? Maybe publisher. When Mrs. Sugu joined us, we used to have carpets, caustic carpets in the place. She came out and said, why do you people have this kind of change the look of the entire country? Some people used to wear certain kinds of clothes to the editorial board. Say no, this is a serious business. People must wear suits, they must wear ties. That was how wearing of suits and ties became Prince Julius and would be laughing. Because in those days, when I just came from the bush, I used to teach in Agogi, Prince used to say, you can't succeed in this Lagos if you are wearing these Hamatan clothes. But, he gave me opportunities. We traveled to Cairo, we traveled to other parts of the world. When the Ghana was shut down, he got me a job at the United States Agency for International Development with Dr. Stella Goins. So I was even busy, even when the Abacha government shut down. So every time, and so when he sees me now with my bow tie, he says, yes, we are getting there. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And Kabiyesi, thank you very much, sir, for honoring this event. Now, I see many people in the audience who have not yet been introduced. Mr. Danny Kugu is the general manager of Eco Hotels. Yes, sitting next to me is one of our colleagues, Dr. Princess Yagumi Gadebo, daughter-in-law of Kabiyesi Iyalake of Ghana. She's one of the top flight directors at Eco Hotels. Our friends and family are here. I've seen Dr. Bode Olajumoke. I've known Dr. Bode Olajumoke for years. Since I was very small like this. And he used to encourage the younger generation. He and the governor of night shift, Mr. Ken Kales, now they are in their 80s now. So Ibrahima and I were discussing the other day. We said, these people, these were young people. When I went to Abuja, they still came to the club because we had night shift police where we always had fun. How come by the time I came back from Abuja, I'm not hearing they are in their 80s? You mean they were still rocking in their 70s? Another accomplice of theirs is Professor Bolaji Akiyemi. I think they are there. These old men, they were rocking till their 70s. But we thank God for their lives. They are aging gracefully. And Dr. Patrick Deleko and Baba Olusegun Oṣoba and Akinwumi of Bernard. Now these are the founding fathers of the Guardian. So you can't walk in the garden and then you will not hear about the exploits of Dr. Patrick Deleko and Baba Olusegun Oṣoba, who helped to set the standards. And up till the time I went to Abuja, Dr. Paul was still very active in the garden. Now when I called him the other day, he said, you will be 60? Oh, I'll be there. I wanted to say, I want to come to the outside. He said, don't bother yourself. Take the address. I'm still in the same precinct where I used to live. Just send the letter and I'll be there. Thank you, sir, for coming. And then Baba Olusegun Oṣoba recently, when we went to his house to invite him, because he had a very busy schedule, but he said, whatever it takes, I'll be there. And when you see people like Dr. Patrick Deleko, Baba Olusegun Oṣoba, and also the founder and chairman of the Nigerian League of Columnists, that's Akogun Mutola Adema. I think I told him, I saw his photograph in the papers. I said, sir, are you in town? He said, yes, of course. I said, well, you live in Canada. Because after a while, he relocated to Canada. He will spend some time in Canada, he will come back again. So, and here he is. In fact, this morning, at 5 a.m., he has sent me a happy birthday message. Thank you, sir. Okay, very quickly, I see that the MCs are trying to organize. Many of our colleagues are here. The entire media establishment supporting one of their own, Azubike Ishekwe, all the way from Abuja. Mr. Ediolabero, Director of Arise News, Managing Director of This Day Newspapers. Former Leader of Editors, Nigerian Leader of Editors President, Adefaye, Mr. Babanisa, one of our guys in the job, is here. Mr. Taiwo Obe is here. Who else is there? Matthew, who used to work with me at the Guardian. Ibrahima, well, I mentioned, he was the one helping me to distribute cards and all of that. When I saw Mr. Yemi Akeju in Abuja, he said, your ambassador has been to my office. He has delivered your message. Sam Omashe, he's my very good friend. The big Sam. Otoba Bimbo Ashiru. Professor Anthony Killer on the same table with me every Sunday at the Arise News. And Pizza Bala Usman, special advisor to the president. I sent her a letter and a card and all of that. You know, then when I just ran into her at the airport in Abuja, he said, which number did you send? I said, well, the same number that I've always had. He said, no, I have another number. So we stood there right at the airport. He said, forward the invitation to me on this number. And I did. And she said, I will be there. And in fact, this morning, very early, Nino Adedokun, his assistant, was already here saying, look, the special advisors were all young journalists. He was living in Songbudel. In those days, many journalists lived in Ogun State and worked in Lagos. The reason they lived in the outskirts was because rent was before I realized, the next thing I had was that Chegina has built a house in what do they call that place? BGC. And how did you do it? Don't change. Of course, now he's the director of communications with the Dangote Group. So I don't even know whether he now has mansions in Banana Island. So, Tony, thank you very much. Majid Jamil, MJ, very good brother. Ayodele Aminu, I see you, thank you very much. Honorable Commissioner for Information, Lagos State, Beria Omodosho, we all work together at the garden. Dr. Maureen Chigo, thank you very much. Dame Comfort to be, yes, publisher of the source, thank you very much. I see my Kefion, he came in this morning from Akwa. Well, I want to thank Martin Oloja, editor, and also Alaji Akim Bello. I thank all of you very much. I see all of you. And then very quickly, let me talk about family. My aunties are here. Mrs. Regina. Okay, that's Dr. Abdurazak. Dr. Abdurazak is here. Dr. Abdurazak, he was the one when my son was looking for admission. He said, no, the only university that he can go to study law is my faculty, which is the University of Hull. I said, Hull? I've not had a Hull. He said, no, I'll show you. He will do well in the school. That's how my first son went to Hull and did the first degree and did the master's. And in another regard, Dr. Abdurazak is the chairman of Bridge House College, one of the best sixth-form schools in Lagos. And I am a member of the advisory board of Bridge House College. And I think within the Abati family, almost about 5 or 6 have gone there straight to universities, either in Canada or elsewhere. And many more are queuing up to go to the same. See how they don't kill. So, Mrs. Victoria Shibuka, my auntie, thank you. Mrs. Regina Afandolo, thank you very much. My father-in-law is here, 80 riches. Mr. Ganiyu of Latin Akotaolu. Thank you very much. He came all the way from the United States, and also from the United States, my sister, I call her Yaludi Ope, and her husband, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick from Texas, United States. Mr. Yemi Adeogun from the United Kingdom. We all grew up together. Tunji Adeogun, all my younger ones, they are here. Ruben Abati, Ralph Abati, Isaiah Abati.
Please come towards the stage. There's a chair and table right here. And of course, people can stand beside him as they want to take pictures. But if he's on stage, it's a lot easier for you to get your pictures.
ọ̀rọ̀ tó kọ nípa lọ́ọ̀dì lẹ́tà yẹn ó sọ̀rọ̀ bó ṣe.